In the current worldwide economic climate, businesses and industry can struggle to stay competitive. They're constantly looking for ways to be more efficient without raising their cost base. To survive in the downturn, companies and trade unions have to show initiative.
For a company, that's very important. The downturn has affected the factory towards the end of this year and probably next year. We've always got to be moving with the times and looking at new products and new areas of business that we can get.
One solution for survival could be to use the skills of their existing workforce, which for years have been overlooked. Scottish Union Learning, the Scottish Centre for Employment Research and the STUC are collaborating to analyse the contribution that trade unions can make to improve skills utilisation in workplaces through research cases in private, public and third sector organisations. In this programme we'll look at 3 different organisations where the Skills Utilisation Project has brought benefits to both the employees and the companies.
Effective skills utilisation occurs where you have really 3 conditions. The first is that you have employees who are capable of making an effective contribution. You have employees who are willing and engaged to make that effective contribution. And you have organisations and companies who can provide the opportunities in which that contribution is made. So you really need a combination of ability, motivation and opportunity to produce effective skills utilisation.
At RSBi Blindcraft, shop floor worker Andrew Brown came up with an idea to recycle white goods which would normally have been sent to landfill.
The original suggestion I made was actually about cookers. Sometimes we'd rejected things because, like say, a switch was broken. So that was the cooker getting rejected and sent away to waste, and you can actually repair that.
Although Andrew was very keen to implement this scheme, he needed training before he'd be qualified to carry out the work. So, Community Union Learning representative Audrey McGimpsey researched ways to make it happen. Community believed in the potential benefits so much that it provided financial support for its development. The union then established a steering group, which was the driving force behind the project.
It was at a meeting with the Community Union's project officers. We sat and discussed the idea. When I researched the idea, I went back to them and kind of put the idea forward, and they supported me in that. They've been to all the meetings. They helped us find a training provider and somebody to do the SVQs for a further 4 workers that's going to be happening in the next few months. I had found out about skills utilisation through the STUC, and I was asked to look at if there was any projects within our workplace, and John Cosgrove, one of the managers, said that one of his employees, Andy Brown, had came to him with an idea about recycling white goods, and we interviewed Andy and took it from there. He felt he had the skills but he didn't have the qualification to back it up to do it in-house, and we found a training course that allowed him to go and do that.
The training course was valuable in 2 ways. It gave Andrew the qualification he needed to carry out the repairs, and it will also allow him to train his colleagues in-house, which will save the company money.
Oh, it's terrific, and it's going to bring more work in and bring more income in. Now Andy will train, I think we're talking about now 4 people that potentially we'd be looking for work for. We can now internalise all that work and keep the guys employed within the factory, and they're bringing much needed income into the factory.
Right, we have a good partnership with Communitas, which is the training arm of Community Union. We rely on them quite a lot for support for the Union Learning Rep. They also help us access funding through ESF money and the Learning and Development Fund.
The savings made and the personal development achieved were a result of the trade union's efforts. But what is the relationship between management and unions like at RSBi?
Oh, terrible. No, seriously. The trade unions in here are very good. They work very well with management. They're willing to look at what their members are doing and help develop them as well.
At First ScotRail, the focus was on workers' progression. Traditionally, in the rail industry, it's been difficult for B-grade fitters to advance to A-grade. As well as gaining new skills, the progression to A-grade would mean a wage increase for the qualified apprentices. Unite and ASLEF raised this issue with the company with the aims of reducing the need for external recruitment and developing the skills of the workforce through a mature apprenticeship scheme.
What we're trying to do is give opportunities to our members, both skilled and unskilled, to progress. What we want to do is break the glass ceilings, whether it be from semi-skilled to skilled or from blue-collar into white-collar technical positions.
If you look at The people within our organisation, most of them are long-termers. They come in to do a job, but they make a career of it because they can see that it's a good job, there's good pay and benefits, and some are quite happy to stay in the same job.
I'm sure there are lots of people like that in a whole lot of different workplaces across Scotland who have huge amounts of tacit knowledge and skills and experience. They know how things work, they know the organisational culture, but they've never really been developed beyond that.
So by taking people who've perhaps come in semi-skilled, you're tapping into the skills that they've already gained and their enthusiasm to get a qualification that will see them moving up. And that's what the Mature Apprenticeships scheme that we've run has been about.
Many of the employees who started the Mature Apprenticeship were in their 40s and 50s and faced the challenge of going back into education after several decades.
I've never been in a classroom for 40 years, so it was really intimidating. I was very nervous. I was really very nervous, but once I'd settled down and got into it, it was great, absolutely fantastic.
Been away from learning for a long time, a lot of barriers put in place, getting back into a learning environment. So we set up Brush Up Your Skills courses that broke down those barriers, brought the learning into the workplace, gave them the confidence, broke down terminologies like portfolio, can be a daunting term for people. It's a folder to record your work in. Broke that down, gave them the confidence to kick on.
I've been in the railway 26 years. The unions are involved in it, heavily involved in it. It's a Wednesday night, we go for 2.5 hours. And they've come up and asked how everybody's getting on and stuff, and if anybody's needing extra support or anything like that. It's been pretty good. It's interesting. Just everything you needed to know to be an A grade.
That would never have happened before. Never, no chance. Because I'm not an electrically trained engineer, I'm a mechanically trained engineer. So I would always be just an engineer in here instead of being an electrical engineer.
NorthLink Ferries is owned by the Scottish Government, which means both cost efficiency and retention of their franchise are crucial for the company's business plan. These business needs have resulted in the introduction of a performance and development plan for staff in the hotel department of the ferries, which is management-led, union-supported and workforce involved. The hotel department includes retail, hospitality and accommodation services. However, working offshore creates its own unique issues. Apart from long hours, often in severe weather conditions, scheduling training for staff can be difficult.
To supply courses for the workforce, just purely simply because of the type of work they do and the shift patterns of work. They can't go to a normal college at night and do night classes and that because their shift's not.
Again, worker progression was limited, which sometimes led to employee frustration as external staff were recruited to fill the open senior positions.
Now, as I say, we're working alongside the company to have clear and defined pathways for crew members. If they want to progress now, there's a clear structure in place that this is the skills that you need to progress, where that was never in place before.
Oh yeah, definitely. The hotel department's one of the worst departments for people saying, oh, I'm a steward, that's me kind of stuck there. Now it's a lot better because they can say, right, I can become a hotel director, I want to go for that. I'll start as a steward, I know that's where I start and I know where to go now.
The crew members who want to take part in the scheme are given a union-supported appraisal, where they can apply to be trained in the skills necessary to advance their career. One employee who has taken advantage of this is David Wojciechowski, who began as a steward and is now a supervisor.
I started in the company as just basic summer steward. After the summer I work as relief steward. I cover all the steward positions here. And after next year I start to cover the supervisor positions, including all the supervisor positions on board. Now we all have a chance because we have this appraisals, this personal development plan. They ask you what you want to do in the future. If you're happy on the job which you're doing just now, or if you want to change, do something else.
Well, I think it was the union who encouraged the idea of putting the appraisal system in place. A company always should have an appraisal system, I think. You want to know yourself as an individual whether you're doing your job well or where you can improve, but also then it does give you opportunity to move up the ranks.
Samantha Jackson is currently a retail manager, but wants to progress to become a purser.
The biggest job I think is cash handling, but they also do the crew manifests and like the reception area. I wanted to change the job to try something different, achieve something more also look at possibility of extra money with the change of job. It's more responsibility, so it's a chance of extra pennies. The union have been very supportive, making sure that all the right courses are put in place for us to be able to achieve the goals that we're looking for in order to be able to move on. It's great to be able to step up and be able, given the opportunity to be able to move forward.
By developing the existing workforce rather than recruiting externally, there are financial and practical benefits for the company.
And the cost of training somebody up new is a lot more expensive than somebody who keeps developing and developing. That with the time as well, trying to get somebody on, you've got to get somebody else to show them how to do it and things like that, and it's just a great way to progress the workforce as a whole.
Well, there's quite a few advantages from coming through the ranks. I suppose knowing the staff on a more familiar basis in terms of maybe their friends and family and the hobbies that they're into, just knowing them who's better at certain things and just knowing them on a more personal level maybe is a more advantage. Plus also having done their jobs or kind of worked with them in their jobs, I know how things should be done, so that you're always in the loop and understanding the best format for work.
These examples have shown that there are benefits for the workforce and the employers to engage in skills utilisation. This wouldn't have happened if there was not close cooperation between the companies and trade unions.
The partnership with the unions has been absolutely critical to the success of it. From inception of the project, they have been involved. They're in the steering group that oversees it. So they were absolutely invaluable and they've been very, very supportive.
Brilliant. The unions have been really helpful in good and suggestion ways we can progress our crew, and we've arranged all this new project and things like that, and they've been really helpful.
Trade union is very important, work well with us, and the aim of both us and the trade unions is to keep the people employed within the factory.
The project shows that skills utilisation is more than just skills acquisition, and already there are benefits emerging for trade unions. Engaging with workers' skills, deployment and career development reflects a core union agenda of developing members' needs and improving their terms and conditions.
The skills utilisation debate grows very much out of that experience and indeed the engagement and the collaboration that they've constructed with employers over that time period. But it takes it a step further because it takes unions into a discussion about how skills are used in the workplace, not simply how they're supplied, how career paths are developed that give people opportunities for progression and promotion. So for the unions it develops out of the learning agenda and their role in that, but it produces, I think, a distinctive pathway out of that for unions to pursue.